We'll see today the important topic of the artificial intelligence, that is robotics. And in that, the subtopic is the sensors. Which are the sensors are there which has been taken from the analogy of the animals and human beings. So we can see the sensors from the not only the animals, also we have got the sensors from the ocean animals, and also the some of the fishes are there, and which can take the sense of the water, which can take the sense of the waves in the water, and they can detect that the whether the enemy is coming in front of them or not. So they also sense the heat of the water, they can sense the pressure of the water. So this is actually the derived type of the parameters. They sense it, and there are various types of the sensors which are available, and what actually being the sensors are. The sensors are the senses the data from the existing environment and provides the information about the physical world. The information may be the signals, the information may be the sound, the information may be your picture, the information may be your touching sense, the information may be your the flow of the water, the flow of the wind also. Let us see the what is the connection of sensors with the transducers. So transducers, you know it already that it converts the one energy form to the another energy forms. So we have got many examples of transducers. We have got the examples which we have seen it in the, we have drawn it in the slides, is the microphone and the speakers. You know that the signals are coming into the microphone, that is input device, and then the amplifier is there which amplifies the signals, and it gives the output device, that is a loudspeaker. The loudspeaker will give the signal. So it is actually the making the signals, analog signals, amplifications. Also it is called as a modulations. So transducers, conversions of acoustic energy to the electrical energy, and then you convert it to the electrical energy to again the acoustic energy. It is a both way. Nearly all the transducers works in the both way. So some sensors are transducer, almost all them involve the above principle. I already said it that there are two types of the transduction. That is, first is a direct transduction, and the second one is a indirect transduction. In the direct transduction, we have got the electrical and magnetic fields, mechanical strain, the temperature, the electromagnetic energy. In the left hand side, we have got a direct signal transduction where we have got the cells of our epiderm, that is called the skin. Outside the cells of our epiderm of the skin is that we have got the ions which are being there, and the signals are coming, receptors are taking that signals, sensing the temperature, sensing the pressure of the environment, sensing the humidity of the environment, and sensing the flow of the air of the environment. And then the effect of the cells will be seen also. So it has to calculate the effect of it. So the sensors is giving this receptor, and the effectors are making the communications with each others, and the signals are coming in and the signals are going in. The signals coming into the receptor side, and then effector will give the signal to the other one, and again the signal is coming out from the receptor also, which gives the senses that it has to go into the body. So next to the up to the, we will see to the right hand side, This is a pressure transducer where the pressure has been created, sometimes called as a pressure transmitter also. It converts the pressure into the analog signal, that is electrical signal. So when you press it, then pressure transducer is there in between and which will convert into the analog signal. This is called as a direct transduction from the one form of the energy to the another form of energy. It is also called as a senses. So our body is also taking the pressure and it converts into the some form of the signals, and it will sense, the body will sense the pressure, and then it will go to the brain, and then brain gets a signal. That analog signals will be converted into the effectiveness, and we will say that there is a pressure, there is a temperature, like this. So these are the next one is the derived quantities. Some of the sensors or some of the sensing parameters are the derived parameters. The distance from one place to the other place, the distance from the earth to the moon, we can see in the picture. So that can be seen, that can be sensed. So on the depending upon the other parameters, the distance can be calculated with the parameters of the what is the speed of the earth and what is the speed of the moon, and then we'll calculate the distance between the moon and earth also. We can also calculate the human presence also. So even if you close the eyes, you will calculate the presence of the human. The human is going from your left hand side or right hand side, and how far he is also. So that is called as a sensing of distance from the human to the human also, and to the human to the object also. Heading, airflow, which I have already said it to you. The flow is there, of the air is moving from one side to the another side, and we can sense it. The pressure which is coming from left hand side to the right hand side, we say that the air is flowing from left to right. Molecule concentrations, air pressure, and the color. The color is dependent upon the Armstrong, that is dependent on the wavelength of the lights which is coming from the reflections of the objects. That is also called as the derived quantities. We derived it from the electric effect. So common animal sensors are the eyes, which has got the electromagnetic waves in the some subspectrum. So the eyes can see some of the objects, particles, substances with the electromagnetic waves on the earth, and some spectrums also, and which is in the typical and particular spectrums also. So in the particular spectrum, it has to see it because it is a combination of electron wavelengths and photoelectric effect also. Next sensor is here. The pressure waves between the 10 Hertz to the 100 kilohertz can be seen. It depends upon the animals, animal to animal and animal's capacity also, and how the animals has been grown up and brought up in which environment. The nose, concentration of airborne molecules. The molecules are different to the animals, and then you can see that the dogs are more sensible animal in terms of the nose than the person, the human being. And tongue, concentration of dissolved molecules. The skin, pattern of pressure of animal surface. So some of the marine animals, or some of the animals which are being in a desert, they can sense the pressures very well than the other animals. Proprioceptive systems, pattern of nerves, impulses from the muscles also. So these are the common animal senses which are present in animal body. Now we will see some of the specific and unusual sensors. The magnetoreceptor is there. This can be seen in newts, birds, rats, and maybe human, that is sensing of Earth's magnetic field. Variety of fishes can sense the electric field. Scarcy or Cersei type of cockroach senses the airflow sensors. Body as our eyes can sense the Bistla star covered with the optically perfect lenses, and they can sense the animals and other things from long distance. So what is biological rotation sensor now? So this is a rotational sensors. We have got endolimb and ampulla and capilla, the semicircular canals, and detect the angular acceleration. So angular acceleration, the rotations and the angular accelerations is been detected by the canals which are present in the eyes. That is called as semicircular canals, which has been seen to the right hand side. Three canals are there, one per plane. So X plane, Y, that is X, Y, Z. Three planes are there, and then in the three planes, how you rotate it, it depends upon the rotations can be seen in that angular acceleration can be seen and can be detected by these sensors, that is called as the canals. Inertia of fluid causes the deflection of sensory elements, that is fluid is there, and then fluid, the articular nerves and secular nerves and vestibular ganglia that sense the fluid which gives the balance to your body of the rotation. Now robot design is in creature design. What is the meaning of this now? So robot can be designed with the help of the uh, philosophy, with the help of the structure, with the help of the anatomy of the creature. Animal sensory systems adapted to a functional needs and environment. We know it that the sensory environments are depending upon the needs of the environment, needs of the peripheral systems. Robots can use the non-biological sensors which suits them to their ecosystems. The example is neutron snipping robot dog. We can see it. That robot dog is snipping, and this neutron snipping robot dog can sense the persons, can sense these persons with having a different characteristics or different smell easily. Now, what is this now? The sensors for a date reckoning. So typical sensors are there. Optical encoder. The optical encoders works like this. We have got a shaft, we have got a code disk, light source, and then optical detector A and B is there, which is rotating, and also the one cycle is there, which is one cycle is going to be giving the sense that how much distance is there uh, from one object to the another object. That is quadrature encoders combine the output of two sensing elements, that is A and B, reducing the signal that registers movements 4 times smaller than the cycle of the line pattern printed on the code disk. So one type found in standard computer mouse also, and quadrature encoding also is possible, which are the optical sensing. It sends the optical senses, and then when you rotate it, and then it sends the two signals, and then photoelectric transducers converts the uh, sensor distances and make the difference between the sensing distances with respect to the voltage, and it calculates the distance of a particular object from one position to the other position. Sensor for orientation and heading. Now you can say this, the we have got a gyroscope is there, and we have got a geomagnetic sensor. What is geomagnetic sensor? It is here now. If we have got the for suppose there is a body which is shown into the left hand side, and it is the north pole is there, and then we have got the uh, south pole is also there, and if it is moving, meaning is that the it is the angle of T and the angle of A is changing. So the angle of T and the angle of A is changing. So if you are moving towards the northeast side, and then you are changing the angle A and you are changing the angle T, and depending upon that we can say that there is a magnetic force from the earth, and that you can calculate also. So gyro drift is also one of the issues, and the B field distortion is another issue. Which are being used in the robotic, and these are the sensors which are can be uh, analogous to our sensors to be designed, to be prototyped into the robotics. Thank you very much.